What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sideline Summit. I'm Antonio Perez, joined as always by Danny Cole, DC UPenn's finest, Chris Coulter, CB Coacher Boy. We got another great episode for you guys today with the season basically just a week away, and we got three divisions to catch up on. We will be talking about both the AFC and NFC West today, while next week we'll do the NFC East along with our award predictions for the season. But for today, we'll be talking about the Raiders, Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, Niners, Cardinals, Seahawks, and Rams. So going to be an action-packed episode, a lot going on for you. Just remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to this on audio, leave a like, 5-star review, download the episode, anything to push the algorithm. But let's push it to Danny for Summits and Plummets to start.
So the season is starting.
Great words. Almost.
Yeah, so I'm going to do it's going to be a summit. It's proof that emotions exist. That's all I have to say. Emotions are a thing. It's a good thing. Beautiful summit.
1-year-olds know that one, and your dog is also proof of that.
Human emotions.
Yeah, people got paid to figure those out back in the day. You could say, I was thinking thoughts, and you're in the history books.
Man, it's close, to say the least. And I think my other summit. Shout out to Travis Kelce, man. You're going to be hanging it up at the end of this year. Got an engagement. I had to bring it up. Man, they said he might get the Josh Allen boost, get the engagement, get the MVP. Say no.
Imagine. Would be crazy.
Yeah, but now they said Taylor Swift going to perform halftime show.
I mean, it's a layup, right?
It's got to be.
That's a layup. So, they were like, he was 1,000% going to propose if they three-peated. He was probably going to retire too, but sorry, the good guys had different plans. So
different ring. It's okay.
Yeah, not bad at all. But you said human emotion is real. What does that mean? Did something like
Nothing.
Make you happy?
Just.
I mean, if you're 23 years old and you're just now discovering human emotion is real, I mean, that points to the claim I made the other night that you have the emotional intelligence of a jellyfish.
No, it's not about just discovering that. It's about rediscovering.
Rediscovering. Very interesting. Okay. Anyway, Chris, what do we got for this week? What's on the agenda? What's happened?
Oh, Stash is back. It's just permanent to stay this time. So at least till the winter.
Yeah, man.
What's mine? I don't think I've ever just rocked a mustache when I had the ability to not. Like, I don't think I've ever went.
Don't do that.
Crazy. It's crazy. Like, I would look insane. I feel like I would look like Jeremiah Trotter. And I know that's a very crazy pool. I think I would look like Jeremiah Trotter Sr. But Summit, half Plummet. I'll be an age older tomorrow. That won't be named. And it's my birthday.
Birthday week. Let's go.
By the time this comes out, it will be Chris's
a glorious day.
29th birthday for the third time. Or
fourth
time.
It's my year, Udoka year.
We call him Chris Tatum.
Crazy pool. If you go back and look at his jersey number in high school, he's number 32. Why do I know that? I just do. So it's Ime Udoka pool. There it is.
Yeah, hopefully the Magic Johnson year without the downsides. But
that's why I didn't say Magic Johnson, because it's a couple of things I can do with that.
I'm close on my Kobe year soon.
On your Ronnie Hollis Jefferson year?
Soon.
You're
Brian Scalabrine year, bro. You don't get a Kobe year.
Yeah, or you
don't get a Kobe year. Like when I turn 23 in October, it's not a LeBron year, it's not a Jordan year. It's gonna be a Draymond year.
It's gonna be an Aaron Nesmith year.
Yes. That's now we're talking, right?
Or it could be
real team first, guys.
It could be in the Feature Collier year.
We're not mad at that, right? Right. This is the best player in the W this year. We're not mad at that.
I must admit, Chicago Sky are the worst basketball team ever known to mankind.
And you want to know why? They said, basketball, what do you need guards for? Let's go trade all our guards and get all big men, and then wonder why big men can't get the ball. That's Chicago Sky.
They tried to make that Pelicans team when they traded for Boogie, but they didn't have Holiday and Rondo.
They literally forgot to get the two most important guys of that team. But they got 3 Darius Millers though. No shade to Darius, but thanks a lot for nothing. So that's something.
They chuck up bricks.
Yes, and my girl,
they can't space the floor.
Yes. Oh, and I think the other summit. A couple of my friends were at the Candace Parker jersey retirement thing yesterday, so I got some really cool photos and videos from them. One of my friends was sitting like courtside, so he was sitting like maybe 8 seats down from where she was at towards the second half. So it was just cool to see that. Y'all know I'm from Chicago, and Candace Parker really put on for Chicago sport. I mean, she's from Naperville, far suburb, but we still claim Chicago because she's good. Just like Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade is really from Robbins, Illinois. He's really not Chicago, but we claim him because he's really good. But Candace Parker did a lot for women's basketball, so it's just cool to see her jersey get retired back in the city where she really put on it.
That's what Philly does with Jameer Nelson.
Oh, Isaiah Thomas too. Isaiah Thomas is from the north, or does that count as west suburbs? He's from the west suburb. But you ask anybody, Chicago.
Yeah, that's what we do with Jameer Nelson. He is from Chester, Pennsylvania, but you talk Philly Hoopers or
Philly to me.
Even Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker's from Reading, PA. That's an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours from Philadelphia.
Really? When are we gonna start repping Macau Bridges?
Oh, where's he from?
Great Valley, bro. Bro's from Great Valley, PA.
So
points to Philly, where is that?
45 minutes outside.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty far.
I mean, that's at least kind of close, like where.
Yeah, but that's not I guess when you live there, it's we're so critical. Okay, to you, there's a city 6 of schools. There's a city 6 of schools. There's Villanova, LaSalle, Drexel, St. Joe's, Temple, UPenn, but Villanova's not in Philadelphia. Yeah, so we really do that thing's in Westchester, Lower Marion, wherever. But to the outside world, because they're good at basketball and Philadelphia basketball is a thing, you're like, oh. Yeah,
so does Kobe really count as Philly because it's Lower Marion? Because I know that's what his high school is.
Kobe ain't from Philly. Nope. Lower Marion's that Villanova area. Yep. Okay. But he was a big Eagles fan, so
that counts for something.
We'll allow it. I'll allow it.
And it's Kobe, so it's I'll take it.
Yeah. But we have so much football to go over today. So let's get to that. Let's start with the Raiders. We're starting at the bottom of the AFC West. Obviously, their biggest addition this offseason was Geno Smith. They found a quarterback that is more than serviceable to compete, especially in this AFC West where you have the Broncos with one of the best, if not the best best defense in the league, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, who are obviously elite, the premier football team in the league over the past couple of years, and then the Chargers, who seemingly figured it out with their elite quarterback, and then Jim Harbaugh. They signed Raheem Mostert to help back up Ashton Genty. He's had a lot of workload at Boise State. It'll be good to see him maybe not get you want to lean on him, but it's good to have a backup there. And then they resigned. Max Crosby got an extension. Alex Kappa got a 2-year deal. They signed the most washed linebackers you can think of in Devin White and Jalen Smith. Eric Stokes for some cornerback depth that's definitely going to help, as they did just trade Bennett to the Eagles. And then as for some departures, excuse me a second here. They didn't. They lost both Amir Abdullah and Alexander Madison, but you got Ashton Genty, so who really cares? And Marcus Epps is kind of a tough depth loss, I would say. I think he's always been a pretty strong, one of the better safeties, I guess you can say, in the league. Nothing crazy, but definitely not bad. And they lost Christian Wilkins, or they cut Christian Wilkins. That's the better way to put it. And then as for their draft, let's just take a look at that real quick.
Jack Beck
Ashton Genty obviously was their first round pick. Jack Beck out of TCU was their second round pick. Dorian Porter out of Iowa State, corner they snagged in the third round, along with guard Caleb Rogers and tackle Charles Grant to wrap up day 2. And then, do what they had to do on the last day of the draft.
I will say, outside of Ashton Genty, a lot of Raider-esque draft. It's
yeah, I'd say so.
It is very name soup, as they call it.
Yes. Yeah, I'd agree. But looking at the Raiders line here, they're actually at a they're at 6.5. So Danny, I'll start with you. You're a guy who's I would say seemingly high on Geno Smith, just like I am. What do you expect from the Raiders this year? 6.5. Is it achievable? How will they fare in this division? How much will Genty provide? What are your thoughts?
This team is certainly achievable. 6.5 is a line that can be met. I think they go over. I think this offense has potential to be one of the top 10 in the NFL, similar to how the Cardinals were when with Kyler Murray a few years back, and they were just Geno has weapons around him. They have a decent O-line. They have Genty. They have a good run scheme with Pete Carroll's offense and Chip Kelly running the point. If Jacoby Myers signs back, I love Jacoby Myers. Getting him with Jack Beck, Amari Cooper, Brock Bowers is really the pivotal point of this offense. He's really a receiver. The more you look at it, you're like, wow, this team has stars. Can Geno just distribute? Can he play point guard? And you look at their defense; it's a damn good defensive line.
Yeah,
their secondary, good luck.
If you can sack them before guys get open, sure, it's great. But the secondary is it's pretty rough. I mean, they signed Jamal.
And they got rid of
anyone cares.
He's a linebacker now, so
always has been, hasn't he?
Unfortunately. But yeah, I'll take the over. I think Geno can lead him to a few wins. He's a good enough quarterback to take this team to be mid.
Yeah. I think I would agree. I think I got him like 7-8 wins. Probably not playoffs. But yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Chris, what are we thinking about the Raiders? Geno being their biggest addition. Got some weapons outside of Bowers. What do you think for Las Vegas?
I did see Jacoby Myers just requested a trade. Am I correct?
He did do that. Yes. I forgot to mention. Yes. He's either that or he's playing the Terry game. Probably not for $30 million, but for
maybe like 19.
A respectable amount of money.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if they can get all their weapons together, including Jacoby Myers, I'm a Jacoby Myers fan. I think he's pretty good. I watched him a little closer last year just when I got a chance to, and I thought he was pretty good. But I think it's achievable to what Danny said. I think they have enough to get 7 wins. I think so. If Christian Wilkins wasn't such a guy doing crazy things, that would have helped that defensive line. But they still have a really good one. But I think just as a whole, I think they have enough to get 7 because I don't think the division's super crazy for them. I think they can get some wins. I'm looking at the schedule right now. I'm counting about 4 or 5. I can say I think they have in the bag, kind of. So I'll give them 2 more off top of just adding Geno and them, having weapons good enough and having a decent enough defense to be able to stop you from putting up 30 points every night, at least what it looks like. So yeah, I'll take them for the 7 wins. And I'm a Max Crosby guy too. I think he's really, really good. I mean, obviously everybody does, but I'm a big fan of him. And when you can be a game record like that, you just never know. Sometimes you can win the game. You can win 14-10s. You'll get a couple of those when you have guys like that. So I'll go with the 7 over.
Yeah, and the just the way their division's set up, it'll be tough to maybe get to that spot. But if they can really nail their out of division games, and then maybe split with a Chargers or split with a Broncos. I mean, I doubt this one, but steal one from the Chiefs, then maybe you could talk about them in the playoff spots. But I'll have them missing. But 7-8 wins, it's definitely not a bad spot.
Not 6-7 wins, 7-8.
Yeah, 7-8, because if it was 6 or 7, I'd be teetering the line, and that's not how we do things. Yeah, but not much more to go off of there. We do got a lot of teams to talk about, so we're kind of going to be trucking through this thing, but definitely not rushing any of our assessment. Let's talk about the Denver Broncos. They're coming off a playoff appearance with their rookie quarterback, Bo Nix. This year, I mean, additions-wise, they got J.K. Dobbins from the Chargers. Not a trade, but that's where he was. Evan Ingram was, I think, a really great pickup for someone who got cut from Jacksonville. DJ Jones re-signed on a 3-year deal. Dre Greenlaw signed a 3-year deal. We'll see how he looks off of his Achilles tear. Hufanga signed a 3-year deal as well. In the draft, they got Jahdae Barron, which I think a lot of us were pretty at least decent with Barron out of Texas. The second round they got RJ Harvey at a UCF, who honestly I thought was like a pretty good player. I thought he was a pretty good player. I don't know how many reps he's taken away from J.K. Dobbins, but he was pretty good. And then one of the last picks that I liked was Savion Jones out of LSU, the edge. I think he's going to be able to contribute pretty well. But yeah, I guess I'll give my thoughts on the Broncos first. Their line is 9.5, and I think they won 9-10 games last year. I'm gonna go under, and a big piece of this is because quarterback progression isn't necessarily linear. Bo Nix, I think we all kind of pointed out, was someone who could probably be fine right away in the NFL. But what could his ceiling be? I'm not saying he's capped out year one. Maybe he does get a little bit better next year. But I think with more film on what they got going on, the offense could be pretty stagnant. While J.K. Dobbins had a pretty solid year last year, I don't know how great how workhorse-esque he can really be with the Broncos. I mean, their defense could very well just prove me wrong and say the offense doesn't need to get better in order for things to change. But the rest of this division has upgraded at quarterback, or had Mahomes or Herbert. So them reaching this line kind of depends on Bo Nix growth. I don't think there's much more growth to be made. So I have them just under, probably at like 7 or 8 wins, 8-9, something like that. I'll leave it to one of you guys, whoever wants to give their take on the Broncos.
My take is that Bo Nix is a better version of Mac Jones. Unfortunately, very good rookie season, leads his team to the playoffs, get blown out by the Bills. Second year, recedes, comes back to reality. Team has decent defense. This defense could lead them to the playoffs alone. I think they have a top 3 defense in football. I think they have the best. I think they have the best player on defensive side of the ball in the NFL.
A corner will never be the best defender in the NFL. Never.
Well, that's fair. You can say that. He just won Defensive Player of the Year, but that's fair. I get it.
Okay, who had a better year last year, him or Zach Bond?
Depends. What do you think?
No shit. That's why I asked you.
I think Surtain, but
okay. All right, we're just lying. Well, he's not better than Garrett. He's not better than Watt. He's not better than Parsons. He's not better than Bond, Warner. He's the best corner in the league, sure. He's not the best defender.
Outside of that,
a corner will never be the best defender in the league because they just do not have that much control in the game.
That's fair. I get that. Point stands. I think they've one of the best players in the NFL on the defensive side of the ball. The defensive line is formidable. I think they're solid. I think that Nick Bonito really did a coming out party last year as outside linebacker. And the big thing for them is Funga and Dre Greenlaw. Like, they have really, really good names that came over from the Niners that were on the Niners championship team that won the NFC team and really became household names. So in my opinion, this defense could carry them to a good 9 or 10 wins, but I think like it screams under. I don't know why. I think this offense just lacks a third weapon. They have Cortland Sutton. They have can Evan Engram put them over the top? That's the question. I would love to see it. I think the problem is, I think if the Broncos take the step, I think the Chargers take the step back.
It's very possible. They could leap the Chargers. What to say?
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think about the Broncos this season? Is Bo Nix going to take a level up? What are we thinking?
I'm going with the under on the wins. I just think 10's a lot in the sense of they won 9 last year, and I think they had a really good season. And I don't think they got that much better to where I can just stamp them at 10. I can see them getting to it, but I don't think I can stamp them there. I think Danny mentioned one of the points that I was going to say. I don't think the offense has enough for me to just stamp 10. I think they can get it, but I'm not confident in saying so. So I would go with the under. And I just expect not regression from Bo Nix, but I expect people to be more ready for him. Because I think kind of like everybody else thought he wasn't going to be as good. And I think towards the end of the year, towards, those points in the year people start understanding, but it was kind of too late at that point. He was already kind of rolling a little bit. But I think now coming in, understanding that he is a good, a formidable quarterback in the NFL, I think the team's going to be more geared up and ready for that. So I think that's something where I can see them getting 8 wins. Pretty much I can kind of pencil them in for 8, but I think 10 is just a little much. And I also think too, just depending heavily on, obviously, you got pass retain, obviously, but depending heavily on the Dre Greenlaw, Hufanga, who are coming off of major injuries for the most part, them not coming back 100% or as good as they were can easily, make that defense kind of regress because of how much you kind of invested in them. So yeah, I can see them winning a good amount of games, but I don't see 10. So I would say
under. Yeah, definitely not mad at that. Let's move on to the Chargers. The Chargers were kind of one of the, I guess, big surprises in the league last year. Rookie head coach, team that didn't necessarily have great weapons. You got Ladd, of course, and the run game ended up being strong. So they were able to find a playoff berth. And we all know how that ended. Very poorly. So looking at their offseason additions, they got Najee Harris on a 1-year deal. The Steelers did not obviously pick up that option nor extend him. They got Tyler Conklin on a 1-year deal, Mekhi Becton on a 2-year deal. They did extend Slater, but he's going to be out for the year. Got some edge. They re-signed Khalil Mack on a 1-year deal. Bud Dupree got a 1-year extension. Deshaun Hand signed a 1-year deal. I can't believe they gave St. Juste a job, but they did that. As for the draft, they got Omarion Hampton in the first round, who is going to be running back 1 in replacement of J.K. Dobbins, which I think is going to be great. They got Trey Harris out of Mississippi, who seemingly is already having drop issues at practice. And then they got Jamari Caldwell out of Oregon in the 3rd round. And then one of my later picks that I liked was Keandre Lambert-Smith. I'm pretty sure Danny was actually the first person to highlight him, if I'm not mistaken. But I thought that was pretty good pick in the 5th round. But yeah, let's start with Chris as not to label you a Herbert hater, but you're certainly critical of him just because of how talented he is, with the lack of success that kind of comes with it, or at least postseason success. Held to that elite quarterback standard, you get elite quarterback criticism, which is entirely fair. So what do you think we're getting in year 2 of Herbert and Harbaugh? What leap could we see from the offense? What should happen out in LA?
I do want to say this. I want to preface my statement with why I hate on Herbert as much. And it's more so because of it's Jalen Hurts' fault in a good way. Jalen Hurts gets hate for actually winning. Herbert gets praised for almost winning and playing with a broken finger. I won't let that ride. Not in my house. Not up in here. But outside of that and everything else aside, Justin Herbert is obviously very, very talented. I would say top 6 or 7 talented players. Quarterbacks in the NFL, easily. But I'm just looking for him to do something. And I think he's going to. I think Harbaugh. Y'all see what I did there? I think the second year of Harbaugh, I think that's going to be really good. I think the offense looked solid last year. He just had people out there who didn't have hands, just had gloves on. Won't say any names. And he had Lamar Jackson.
He didn't have hands; they just had gloves on.
That boy Quinn.
That's crazy.
Was out there.
That's crazy. I do want to note just real fast. Their over under is 9.5.
Well, I'll give them 10.
I mean, last year was 8.5, and they did indeed do the thing. So
yeah, I think they're gonna get 10. I think I'm kind of easing up off Herbert a little bit just because, as y'all know, in every sport, I'm all about talent, and that kid is talented. I love a hardball coach. Obviously, my guys at hardball. I love Jim. I think they're just gonna be a lot better. I'm a really big fan of Marion Hampton. Huge fan of Marion Hampton. I think he adds a little bit of thunder and punch just to this offense, just give them a little bit more juice. So I'm excited to see them. I'll give them the over, though, just because I believe in the coaching. I believe in the star player. At the end of the day, people don't say it all the time, and I think football is one of those sports where you can kind of say teams win. But a lot of times, if you have a star, you'll get 6 or 7 wins off the rip, just off that. Sometimes a good person, and I'll give them 3 more. So I'll give them to 10. Yeah, that's pretty much my explanation for it.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
I think the Chargers are a team that has a top 10 quarterback. They have a good receiver, not a good receiving core. Their tight end room is very underwhelming.
They got one.
They got one. They got one.
One weapon.
Amari Hampton is a rookie in a Greg Roman offense. Congratulations. You don't like unless something changes.
You to 5 million carries.
Like it. The reality is, we're going to see very similar style of offense with, I think, what they hope to be an upgraded staff. Keenan Allen's back. That might change something for Justin Herbert, honestly. Like, it legit might. But I think, in my opinion, this team seemed to downgrade on defense, seemed to get older on defense, and just lose pieces that like Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack's older. I'm just not a fan. I think their defense is going to be subpar, and it'll lead to the Chargers. What happened in the playoff game to the Chargers is going to happen a lot more next year. I think I'll take the under.
Yeah, I wanted to pull out some interesting PFF stats for Herbert running wise. Herbert was 7th amongst qualifying quarterbacks in rush snaps, 9th in designed runs. He had 69 designed runs. I would like to see that number continue to climb, especially with Amari and Hampton. Was 11th in scramble yards, which is pretty good. Yeah, I just love it. Every year I come in, we're talking about Herbert, and I'm like, the leap is, can you unlock a little bit of that craziness, that that willingness to run the ball as hard as some of these other guys, because I think he's got the wheels. It's just a matter of how much are we going to use that. And Herbert, I mean, y'all know how I feel about him. He is my favorite non-Jalen Hurts quarterback in the entire NFL. And last year, the leap he took last year, not like he threw a career high in touchdowns or anything, but he only threw 3 interceptions in over 500 attempts. Now he got to the postseason, he threw 4 in about 20, but a singular bad day in the playoffs, it'll stain you in the eyes of many. But I know what I watched last year. He had his bad day at the worst time. Some dudes ain't built for it, but I'm not ready to quit on him as a playoff choker. We're only 5 years into this thing, and I think with Harbaugh, he'll be seeing a lot more. So I'm also going the over. I expect a great year. I think him and Ladd McConkey kind of figured out that buddy ball real late last year. I think early on we're like, oh, Ladd, like, this is crazy. Little white boy's pretty good. And now at the end of the year, we're like, wow, like this is a really good player. And I think, going into this year, that's going to get going immediately instead of, oh, we're picking it up halfway through the year because we figured out Ladd's pretty good.
Stop trying to
they're going to, yeah. And then, as I'm not trying to say Keenan Allen's going to come in here, be a Pro Bowler, and he's going to save the franchise, but you cannot underestimate the power of chemistry, buddy ball. 3rd and 5, good as Lad is, I promise you I know where Herbert's looking. He's looking to Keenan Allen on the little whip route to get him a quick 6 yards. And it's going to be money every time because those two are they really had it going. And the only thing that kind of stopped them was Mike Williams not being able to stretch the field, which led to more attention on Keenan Allen. And also Austin Eckler,
being on
like
the team.
Chris just said, there's dudes with no hands. They're just wearing gloves. He has no hamstrings or knees. They were just wearing pants. So I expect big things from the Chargers this year. I do expect them to truly threaten the Chiefs for the AFC title. I'm going to take the over on the 9.5. And why I say threaten, Chiefs are still going to win the division in my opinion. That's kind of just a lock at this rate. I dare them to not win the division on Kelsey's engagement year. Are you serious? Unless Herbert proposes to Madison Beer, then I'm going to the Herbeers. I'm sorry. The Herbeers, I prefer.
If he proposes,
yes. If Herbert proposed, it would truly outdo those numbers.
Wow! If he proposes,
yeah. But the Herbeers, I'm a big fan of those two. I'm a big fan. I want to draft Justin Herbert just to have like the Madison Beer picture because that's pretty funny. But yeah, anything else you guys wanted to say about the Chargers that isn't hypothetical?
No, nothing else to say about the Chargers. I do hope they're good, but I don't think they're going to be good this year.
I have one thing to say. Go Chargers, go! Shout out to Schwarzenegger.
What in the world?
But y'all remember that? Y'all seen that?
I've seen it before. Yeah, it was just so unexpected.
It was in my head, but I had to get that out. I was going to be saying it all day. I had to get that out.
All right, let's move to.
Let's go to and still the AFC champion,
Kansas City
Chiefs. This team was looking at three-peat the Super Bowl to become the first team ever and had their dreams crushed by the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, if we would be dumb to say that Patrick Mahomes or take his under or say that this team doesn't have all the juice. Because, look, Mahomes, all last offseason, he doesn't have the receivers. They're not that good. They just drafted Worthy because he's fast. And look at him. This team does nothing but win. I'm taking the over. Stamp it. This team is going to win 13-plus games and be in contention for the 1 seed every single year until Patrick Mahomes dies. Not until he retires, until he dies.
Saying you're predicting he dies out on that football field. He's putting his life on the line for Chiefs FC.
He said, "I put my team on his back." Greg Jennings.
The only thing I really wanted to mention, I mean, they didn't do really anything crazy in free agency. I mean, but I did just want to note they did draft Josh Simmons out of Ohio State with the 32nd overall pick in the draft. Can't go wrong with trying to get a franchise tackle. Chris, what about you with the Chiefs? Their over under is 11.5. Danny said 13 wins, so I mean he's still smashing that regardless of what he thought of it. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the 3-time reigning AFC champs?
Something in my head is saying say something really nice so you get reverse juju for your Ravens. But then something is also saying in my head, don't fold. And you stand on the fact that Patrick Mahomes has cut his aura off because he cut his hair. Now I have a conspiracy theory. Mahomes cut his hair, aura gone. Travis Kelce engaged to Taylor Swift, takes her aura, gives it to Patrick Mahomes. Now he has super aura. Now the league's fucked. So I'm taking the over. Just because I think the Eagles literally pissing on their dreams last year. I think it's gonna light a little fire into them to be better, or be more consistent throughout the year.
Bro, they were on easy street. They've been cruising.
That's what I'm saying.
Super Bowl. Yeah,
So I think it kind of woke them up. Like, yeah, you can't lose. I mean, which obviously they knew, but I think getting beat down like that, I think that what woke them up. No matter what the final score was, they really got whooped on, and I think that was embarrassing for the whole Chiefs kingdom as a whole. So I think they'll come back very strong. I think Mahomes, obviously, everybody thinks he's still, the best quarterback in the NFL because he is. But I think Patrick Mahomes has a little chip on the shoulder in the sense of like, I think people kind of forgetting about him. Like, it's not a lot of Mahomes talk anymore. It's like he's just there and everybody else. I think Mahomes is going to remind people of how special he is, even as if anyone had forgotten.
Oh, you're saying he's entering Brady part 2?
Yeah, like irritated Mahomes, right? Like in the sense of like, oh, y'all keep talking about all these other people. Let me remind you. Because y'all talking about 2 and 3. Let me remind you why I'm 1 and so far. That's what I see from Patrick Mahomes. I see MVP for Patrick Mahomes. That's actually my pick. I'm gonna pick him MVP because I think he's gonna have that type of season.
I said that at the gym the other day. I said people need to be reminded Patrick Mahomes can go for 45 touchdowns at any point.
Yeah, like, he's about to really be turned. Like he's about to really just have everybody working. So I can see the over. And like I said,
how many touchdowns for Juju though? 10.
He's going to end up with 12 randomly. It's going to make Tone mad. You're going to be sick. He's going to end up with 12 because somebody's going to go down for 3 or 4 games. He's going to get 6 touchdowns in that span. That's just how Juju Smith used to work. You know that's how it works. You know it. You hate it, but you know it.
I love Juju Smith.
Such a bad football player. Unbelievably bad football player. And he owes his entire career to Antonio Brown double teams.
Well, he should be thankful. But now he can owe it to Patrick Mahomes aura plus Taylor Swift aura. So how can he lose? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll take the over though. Like I said, I think Patrick Mahomes has a let me remind you who I am type of year, and I think it ends up in MVP, and I think at least 12 wins for sure.
Yeah, I'm sort of in an agreement with you, Danny. Sort of that. We haven't seen like a 40 touchdown Mahomes, or like a 35 touchdown Mahomes in a bit, and I think a full season with Xavier Worthy, with Rashee Rice, whether they deserve it or not, they'll have both of them, and that's going to be huge. That's going to be easily the best receiving core he's seen in a while, because before Rashee Rice got hurt, kind of near the end of Rashee Rice's rookie year in the beginning of last year, he was really picking it up as like a wide receiver 1, like a pretty good option for Mahomes. Xavier Worthy kind of finished the season that way, literally, scoring I think 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, but we all know that was fake. But yeah, this could be the best group of weapons he's had in a little while. I don't know how Kelsey's gonna rejuvenate. I mean, he looks skinnier in training camp, but I don't necessarily know if that makes him a better player. But we'll see. I think Travis Kelce's probably going to be dying to go off into the sunset as a Super Bowl champion. Patrick Mahomes knows that anything he does from this point on, this goes into the GOAT debate. While Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and the rest of the league is playing catch up to him, he's chasing number 12 in New England. So, yeah, as the saying goes, he has bigger fish to fry. So he knows he's kind of got to get back on that horse, and I hope Jalen Hurts and the Eagles reminded him of that. That you're not just about to walk over, the entire league. There's a GM out there who has headhunted you, made a roster constructed simply just to destroy you. And so a lot of teams are going to pick up on that.
The Knicks are next.
The Knicks did it. They constructed a roster to take down Thanos, and they made it happen. Surely,
they won a championship after that, right?
Yeah. Surely they didn't. Surely they weren't so focused on one team they forgot about another. But I digress. Yeah, Chiefs are pretty simple. But now we're gonna flip over to an entirely different conference here. We're going to go over to the San Francisco 49ers, the NFC West. They didn't do they got Brock Purdy his extension. Juszczyk got an extension. George Kittle got an extension. Fred Warner got an extension. Guys got paid. That's pretty much it. And they drafted Mykel Williams in the first round of the draft. They finished at the bottom of the division last year, right? And that's because, people got hurt, and, it was kind of just like sink the ship year. Like, let's not even fight it. But their line's 10.5. While possible, if Ayuk comes back with no steps missed, it's a high line for me. Because what could those first 6 weeks look like? What will Purdy look like without his wide receiver 1? I'll tell you what, he didn't look great last year without Ayuk. Didn't necessarily look great with him either. Jawan Jennings is supposed to be good for week 1. But he's him and Ricky Pearsall are going to be the top two options. Of course, you got Kittle, so kind of like that is your number one pass catcher. But I think a lot of this, can they get to 11 wins is going to be on the back of Kittle and CMC. CMC, I've talked about how like he could be poised for maybe a little bit of a bounce back year. But if you don't have Brandon Ayuk out there threatening you, no one's going to be afraid to line up an 8-man box against Christian McCaffrey. So because no one's scared of Brock Purdy's arm, quite frankly, if you don't got Ayuk out there. So I'm going under, but I do expect them to bounce back into the playoffs this year. 9 to 10 wins should be able to do it. Usually they'll have the tiebreaker if need be against like a Green Bay or a Seattle, something like that. I'm a little excited for them this year, especially when Ayuk comes back. I'm ready to see him hopefully get back into that top shape that I thought he was going to be in for last year. Prices went up to be a top 10 receiver, though. Let's not get it twisted. But we'll see where he lands. We'll see where he lands.
Yeah, I want to start. The San Francisco 49ers rely on two things to be a good football team, and we've seen this from 2019 to now with Kyle Shanahan. It's establish the run, whether it's Christian McCaffrey, whether it's Raheem Mostert, and now whether it's going to be Brian Robinson. This team is going to try to run the ball a lot of heavier packages, a lot of tight ends, a lot of grit and grind. And now you don't have Debo running back Samuel to run the ball. He was slow. I mean, he about broke tackles, but he never stretched the ball. He never stretched the field when he was in the slot either. Now you can actually play a little bit different brand of football on the passing side. And it doesn't cater to Brock Purdy. I think this can, like with Brian Robinson, with Christian McCaffrey maybe playing this little slot role, and you're getting Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings and DeMarcus Robinson. Like when you start to align things up, and then you just look at their defense and say it's still there. They still have one of the best linebackers coming who played through a awful ankle injury last year and phenomenal still in Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, my defensive rookie of the year in Michael Williams. I think this team goes over, just over. I had them win 11 games and winning the NFC West. I think the Rams take a major step back. I think Stafford's back injury, and I think Devontae Adams kind of falls off. We'll get to that a little bit soon.
Who's Stafford? There's not going to be any Stafford lining up for the Rams. We know the truth.
Michael Stafford? Michael Stifford?
He said, yo, I'm Michael Stafford. Yo. Chris, what do we think about the Niners this year?
I do not believe in this team one bit. I'm taking the under. Pretty quick assessment, I know. I think losing Debo and not having Ayuk super healthy, it scares me. It scares me a lot. No, I mean, Debo I know was fat a lot last year, but I think not having Ayuk out there is going to be rough. I do love Juwan Jennings as a receiver, though, and I like Pearsall as well. But I don't know if I wanted to depend on that. Now, I love George Kittle, too. So I can see where Danny was coming from with taking over, but I don't know. I'm not a hater on Brock Purdy at all, but I don't know. I don't believe. And I think if I knew Christian McCaffrey was going to be there for 15 games, then I would give him the over. And I'm hoping he is. But it's just it's something. It's always
so. My issue is they came close to a lot of games. Like, dude, they lost the last week of the season to the Cardinals. Granted, they were sitting a lot of people. They lost by 6 to the Lions in the second last week of the season. Then they lost to the Dolphins. They lost the last 3 weeks of the season. They could have easily backdoored the playoff spot with being unhealthy.
Yeah.
But they beat the Cowboys last year. They played the Chiefs pretty closely. And the Cardinals swept them. Like, in what world did anyone see the Cardinals
baby boy Kyler
sweeping the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers? Remember that.
Maybe the K1 fan club did. They didn't either. They didn't see it. I'm lying.
I'm part of the K1 fan club.
Who did?
They didn't see it either. Yeah,
I'll say that the Niners are one of those machines where if one piece goes down, the whole thing is dysfunctional. Once CMC wasn't kind of right, they were never going to do anything that year. Kind of throws off the whole balance of the whole thing.
Dude,
even when like
such an
Debo's
interesting
out.
team.
Yeah, they really are. We're about to see what Kyle Shanahan's. We know what Kyle Shanahan's made of. One of the greatest play callers of the modern era. But we're really going to see what he's made of.
If you look at this 4-week stretch in October last year, they beat the Seahawks, lost a close game to the Chiefs, beat the Cowboys, who were decent at the time, beat the Bucks, who we know how good the Bucks are, and then they go in and lose to the Seahawks, who they've handled, and then they lose multiple blowout games to the Packers and Bills. Like, they were a December collapse. And if they didn't collapse in December, they literally probably would have been the 6th seed.
If the Eagles didn't collapse in their December, they'd be 3 straight NFC champions, but it's not how the game works.
And how did the Eagles bounce back?
They got the best player. They got one of the 3 best players in the league last year and went to work.
Yeah.
So who are the Niners adding?
They added by
Are they adding one
healthy.
of the 3 and Justin Jefferson, Lamar Jackson, and Saquon Barkley?
They have Christian McCaffrey.
He ain't no Saquon. So
Used to be. He used to clear Saquon.
He was never on the level that Saquon was last year. No.
No, I'm saying he used to clear Saquon when they were head-to-head, though.
Yeah, sure. When Christian McCaffrey got to run behind God offensive lines and Saquon Barkley had to go through I-95 traffic just to get 5 yards. So, yeah, give me peak Saquon. But let's go to the Arizona Cardinals, who are kind of one of these teams where I feel like we're every year we're going in. It's like, okay, this could be the year, we're Kyler Murray and all that. Just take a quick look at some additions for them. Nothing crazy. I mean, Trey McBride got an extension. Definitely earned that one. Josh Sweat signed a 4-year deal. Calais Campbell signed a 1-year deal. And in the draft, they got Walter Nolan, who I was a pretty decent fan of. They got Will Johnson in the 2nd round, which, I don't think we've heard anything really about the medicals. So as of right now, it looks pretty good. And I feel like they took a high upside pick in the 5th round with Denzel Burke. Not sure how good he's really going to be. But I digress. The Arizona Cardinals, their line is at 8.5. I do have under. I think that is just a little steep for the division they're in. I think their defense isn't fully fleshed out enough. As I think Josh Sweat's going to be good pretty much immediately. He's played with Jonathan Gannon before. But offensively, I think this is going to be very big on the leap of Murray getting Harrison Jr. the ball. And that could very much happen. I'm not a big believer in their run game. James Conner is a fine workhorse running back, but it's not efficient enough for me to lean on that and be positive and maybe a double-digit win season. So I'm like really, really teetering the line on this. I think 8.5 is like very perfect because I'm literally between 8 or 9. No, I'll predict 9. I'm gonna change my pick literally right now. I'm gonna go over because I do believe that Marvin Harrison Jr. is gonna take a bit of a leap that's gonna help this offense maybe get those 3 extra wins or 2 or 3 extra wins that they may need. So that's where I stand with the Cardinals.
I think
I'll let you take it.
Yeah, what was the line?
8.5. Yeah, 8.5. Same with the Seahawks as well.
Pretty sharp, I'd say. As a K1 believer, I'm taking over. That's my guy. And I think Marvin Harrison takes a big step in the direction of being consistent every game. A consistent threat every game. And I think that's what puts me on top. Trey McBride's elite tight end. Elite, in my opinion. I think he's an elite tight end, in my opinion. So I think having that weapon with Marvin Harrison Jr. taking a step, I think that'll get you 6 wins there. kind of being a workhorse he is, Kyler having a couple special games, I can see 8. So I'll take the over just off my fandom of Kyler Murray and the connection I think him and Marvin Harrison can make, once it all gets rolling. I can see a buddy ball type of thing where you were kind of talking about, Tone, with Ladd and Herbert, like them kind of figuring that part out early. And that's kind of what I see. So I'll take the over slightly. I don't think they crushed or anything, but I'll take the over.
Yeah, I'm taking the under. Big on K1. This defense does not impress me. Linebacker core, Akeem Davis-Gaither, Mac Wilson, Zane Collins. You have 95-year-old Calais Campbell as your one of your starting defensive tackles. And Josh Sweat's your best edge rusher. I love Josh Sweat. I don't think he's an edge one. He's not a premier edge. I think he's a B tier edge, which is fine. But I think in order to be a great playoff team, you need an elite edge rusher. It's almost proven at this point. You need to have elite edge rushing. He's good. I don't think the rest of the room is really subpar. In their secondary, Buda Baker and Max Melton are really only two names that I really love. I will say Sean Murphy-Bunting, very good signing, and Garrett Williams is one of the most underrated players on this roster overall. If they get healthy and Sean Murphy-Bunting comes back and plays decent football, maybe. I think the reality is this defense holds back the offense, and Kyler Murray's going to have to put them in a lot of shootouts to win the game. Similar to if they want to make the playoffs. Look, we've seen this team start undefeated 8-0 before. We've seen it. And they won a bunch of shootouts. But the problem is they have to win shootouts. They lost the playoffs that year and they got blown out because their defense let up like 30. They're not built to win games. They wouldn't put up 30. Also, their run game is just atrocious. Connor could put up 1,000 yards, but it's a lot of it happens in like random spurts and throughout. Like it's usually meaningless football. So I'm taking the under. I don't think they're a playoff team, but I do see development between Kyler and Marv. I think Gannon. If the season's bad enough, Gannon could get fired.
I think the season bad enough. I think Kyler Murray might not be the quarterback there anymore. He's kind of in a
clean house.
They could be in a Kyler's kind of in that same boat as like Trevor Lawrence, right? Number 1 overall pick. Trevor is a playoff win, but outside of we're maybe looking at overall 20 good games of football, like 20 great games of elite football. Like Trevor Lawrence has kind of been disappointing, and Kyler Murray, you can very much say the same thing. Did y'all know once upon a time there were fools on the net talking about Kyler Murray's better than Lamar Jackson? K1 president, you're out of your mind. Because Lamar missed a couple games and dudes started losing their minds.
As the president of both fan clubs, you're out of your mind.
Lost their marbles, dude. It's crazy. But yeah, not. I think 8.5. It's still a great line. I love Danny's point of view. The defense, it's got some solid names in bits and pieces, but it's not like they're just average outside of that. They're bad outside of that. So,
bro, they're employing a 90-year-old at D tackle.
Yo, chill on Calais Campbell. Yo,
chill on Ray.
That is a real beast right there. And
bro,
look,
bro.
You just dissed Calais Campbell so bad. Cedar had something to say about it.
No disrespect.
I hear Cedar.
Calais Campbell is the equivalent of Eagles signing Ndamukong Suh, bro.
Hey, Ndamukong Suh still rock with us to this day, so the culture was great. All right, but let's go on over to the Seattle Seahawks, who I guess you could say had the biggest move of any of these teams with the new quarterback they signed. They were the ones that fell victim to signing Sam Darnold to a huge contract. Outside of that, let me get you their little
Cooper Kupp.
They did do that. Yes, they do it. They did add Cooper Kupp. Sam Darnold got the big 3-year, $100 million deal.
They went from Geno and
Marcus
DK
Lawrence
to white boy why.
They got DeMarcus Lawrence on a 3-year deal, and in this year's draft, they got Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State with the 18th pick. They got Nick Emenwari out of South Carolina at safety, who I thought was It's a really good player as well. And then obviously their most intriguing draft pick was Jalen Milroe, quarterback out of Alabama, who apparently is supposed to. They said he was going to be used in rookie Jalen Hurts-esque running packages.
I like the sound of that.
So can't wait to see that because Jalen Milroe is liable to go yard every single time he takes off with the football. He's that dynamic of a player. That being said,
my favorite pick is Torrey Horton.
He's a good player too. I mean, most like polarizing, I guess is the better word.
That's fair. Yeah.
I
love Torrey Horton. I think he's going to start receiver for them in the slot. Oh, not in the slot, on the outside of Cooper Kupp in the slot.
Their line is 8.5. I'm gonna go under. I don't know how much I just don't know how much I trust Sam Darnold away from Kevin O'Connell. I said Connor. That's a NBA writer or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an NBA writer. I think Sam Darnold will do just fine away from him. But away from the Vikings, I don't know how much I trust Sam Darnold. I did like the leap I saw from Jackson Smith and Njigba last year. He was great away from Shane Waldron. He was just a completely different player. Cooper Kupp is going to add on to that. They're going to be able to really dominate the matchups between safeties and linebackers and whatnot. I can't see Sam Darnold being the quarterback of a team that wins 9 games in the NFC with JSN as the first option. It's not disrespect to JSN. I just don't know how much he's going to be able to operate as a wide receiver one just yet, especially with Sam Darnold, who kind of like just got good. So going under by nothing crazy. 7-8 wins. I mean, if Sam Darnold is on what he was last year, they're going to go to the playoffs. I just don't see a repeat performance of that, especially we saw late in the playoff or late in the year last year. There's a very, very good recipe to startling Sam Darnold, and that's put the pressure on him, just like a lot of mid-white quarterbacks in our league. Put the pressure on them, and they will not prosper.
They will be Ravens.
Yeah. I kind of disagree with this though. For their line total as well. But my big point is I think the Seattle Seahawks defense could be one of the elite units. I think they have a very, very good cornerback in Devin Witherspoon. I think Rick Woolen is okay. I think we loved him when he was younger. I think even Worry, everyone raved about him coming out. I think he could be the next box safety for them. His defense really took downs last year and really improved. When you look at players like Ernest Jones and Leonard Williams being a great nose tackle, Byron Murphy and Jaron Reed stepping up, I think look at this happen. Julian Love, you look at this team and say, it might not be the most sexy, but they could play some hard-nosed football. And with the weapons they've assembled on offense, I think K9's a top 10 running back, with a more formidable O-line you're investing in. I love their head coach. Chris, you should love him too. He helped the Ravens for a long time. I think this team could make the playoffs very, very well. Like, I think it all comes down to Sam Darnold, like you said. How creative can the coach be? And I'm a fan of the coach because I'm going to trust in a coach that came from a good system, a coach that came from a winning team, a coach that came from a winning culture, to get his players in the right position to win. So
it's hilarious how you said you disagree with me, then just said what I said in reverse, but that's fine.
I took the over though. You took the under.
Okay, but you literally you said everything and then said it comes down to Sam Darnold. What did I just say? I said I have him at 7-8 wins, and if Sam Darnold is playing good, it'll be over, of course. But I don't think he's going to do good because I think that the plan to stop him is just so unbelievably easy.
I like the pieces.
He is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league under pressure. The worst.
The pieces around him are very, very good.
They're not better than they were in Minnesota. It does not get better than Justin Jefferson.
They're not. But they won 14 games in Minnesota. They don't need to win.
They did do that. They can win like 10. They did do that with 10. One of the top defenses in the league, the best player on the planet. And Aaron Jones was really good for his age. And Jordan Addison, who you were just raving about the other day, actually. I would not
I
say
love Jordan
Seattle's a
Nelson.
better situation.
It's not a better situation, but I do love me some K9. I think JSN's great.
K9, Brees Hall. Yeah, they're just running back Herbert and Garrett Wilson. And K9 was great his rookie year. He hasn't done anything since. So whether that's bad line play, whether that's he can't hit a hole for nothing, that's not up to me. But we'll see. Maybe you're right, and maybe he wins MVP, and maybe the Seahawks win the Super Bowl.
Seahawks Super Bowl on the way.
Yep.
Did not.
Yep.
I don't mean that.
JSN with a repeat of the Rose Bowl performance.
Every game of the season.
What would that get him?
300 yards times 17?
Yeah.
It would have 5,000 yards.
They're saying it would be a lot.
He would
Chris,
have more yards. Wait. Okay. Hypothetical. Who wins MVP? JSN or Sam Darnold? Because you have to think he has 5,000 yards, but he probably has like 9,000 passing yards.
If a wide receiver had 5,000 yards and did not win, he wouldn't have 4,000 passing yards outside of JSN. No. If a receiver had 2,000 yards and they didn't win the MVP, I'd blow the award up, dude. Seriously. Blow the award up. I'm so sick of it. Chris, what do you think about the Seahawks this year?
But it don't sound so bad. I'm gonna keep it quick because I think y'all said a lot of what I was going to say. Outside of this part, I trust everything on this team but the quarterback, and I think that's the most important part. And that's why I'm taking the under. I think they can be really. I think Kenneth Walker really, when you sit down and look at it, he could be a top 10 back in the NFL. Personally, that's my personal opinion. Just talent wise, I think he could be. I love JSN, but I think as you said, him as a number one, I was like, I don't know just yet. I think it can be, but I don't know just yet. And especially with Sam Darnold, I just don't know. So I'm gonna take the under. I don't think they're gonna win like 6 games, nothing like that. But I'm gonna take the under. I'm definitely prepared for it to blow up in my face, but I'm taking the under. I just don't trust Sam Darnold at all. I don't. I think he had one really good year with one of the best offensives you can have, with one of the better offensive minds. I just don't see it happening again. I think I see Jalen Milroe starting next year mid-season, personally. Yeah. And I think Sam Darnold's in Arizona if the Cardinals have a bad. Like I can see that type of movement just because I'm not sure how much I believe in Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Seattle is no stranger to benching the high-paid quarterback for the rookie. 2012, Matt Flynn balled out in one game and got fat contract and got benched. So, obviously, Darnold pulled off a whole year. But I digress. Let's move to our final team of the night, which is the Los Angeles Rams. Their line is at 9.5. I'll kind of keep mine relatively short and sweet. I think Davante Adams is a huge add. I don't really think he fell off last year. He had one of his worst years catching the football. I would probably have a bad year too if I was with the Jets with that much dysfunction, but this is going to be the first time he's truly gotten to play a wide receiver 2 role to a Puka Nacua, who I think is one of the 5 best receivers in the NFL. For most people, probably 7, 8, whatever. He's an elite wide receiver. Tutu Atwell looks so much better in a wide receiver 3 role than a wide receiver 2, and Stafford, I mean, he ended last year up just about as good as he's ever looked, I would say. So I'm gonna go over on the 9.5. I think they win the division. Stafford's back problems, I think, are a little bit overblown. I think this has kind of just been a masking of either his death or masking he just didn't want to do training camp. We just watched Hendrickson and McLaurin just basically say, I really just didn't want to do training camp, but I will agree to said contract that you put out. So give me the over on the Rams, the true second best team in the NFC last season. Actually, I want Danny to go first on this because you definitely you gave the nod to you think Davante Adams might be falling off and you think the Rams aren't where they need to be to repeat as West champions. So I want to hear your thoughts there.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of hype around the Rams. I think people think this Rams team's going to come in and steamroll. They think that the Rams doesn't have much comp in the West. I think they have a first place schedule. Stafford's aging, whatever that may be. I think could be injuries that limit him. I think he's one of the best talented quarterbacks in the NFL. But he's coming off of the back injury. They went and got Devontae Adams for a reason. They didn't feel that their second weapon, Cooper Kupp, was honestly, to me, Devontae Adams is a better Cooper Kupp at this point in his career. He's not going to like astronomically stretch the field anymore. He's not Devontae Adams of the past. He's still Devontae Adams, but he's not Devontae Adams of the past. He's not going to put up these gaudy numbers. But they do have Puka, who he's going to learn a few things from Devontae Adams. When it comes down to me, is I see this Rams team, and I just see an exploitable team. In my honest opinion, the Philadelphia Eagles come in and steamroll them if it doesn't start snowing. It got bad really early, and the snow came in and brought the game much closer. And they actually put the game away, and then snow allowed them to claw back. This Rams team, their first playoff win, think back. What did they do? They went in and they beat the Vikings, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings were considered one of the most overhyped teams the entire year.
Yeah, I don't know where you're getting that one from.
They looked awesome.
The Vikings looked awesome last year. They beat them by taking the Lions' game plan because Sam Darnold is easy to throw off his game. If it was easy as just Jefferson saved me, Jefferson would have balled out that game, but he had like 3 catches.
I'll tell you one thing. I think there's the one thing that might save the Rams, in my opinion. I still think they're a playoff team. I still think they're a good team. Is Sean McVay. The pure talent in Sean McVay. I just think that they take a step back and they hand the division back off to a team that's just dominated for the last decade almost.
So do you have them at 9 or 10 wins?
What's the line? 9.5?
Mm-hmm.
I got them at 10. That's fine. That's what I think. I think it's still a major step back.
They won 10 games last year, so
I still think it's a step back.
However that's possible, sure.
The Steelers have won 10 games the last 3 years.
The Steelers have been mid every single year. I don't think I've looked at the Steelers the last 3 years and been like, they look better. I haven't once said that. And I got called a hater because you guys keep signing mid quarterbacks. And when I say they're not good, you didn't make upgrades. This is an F. You're like, no, it has to be a C at the bare minimum. I'm like, no, you didn't get better. So,
right, Rodgers is an A+.
I'm so sure. Can't wait for him to retire after this year when you guys win 7 games.
When we win the Super Bowl, the 7th ring. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, Chris.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm about to lose my mind because that means the Ravens were absolutely ass or they lost in a way that I won't be able to fathom. I may need to be on watch. It may be my 13th reason.
Aaron Rodgers win the bowl. Aaron Rodgers win the bowl. The Steelers. I'll stop watching the sport forever.
I'll lose it though. I will lose it. I will lose my mind because that.
If he goes on his Brady timeline.
Oh, ick.
He'll never be Brady. Not a day in his life.
But before I say what I'm saying, I seen the crazy stat today. They said Tom Brady's record is better when throwing 3 interceptions in a game than Aaron Rodgers is throwing 3 touchdowns. It was like a crazy stat thing that came across. It said Dan Marino's first year, he had 46 rushing yards. He ended his career with 87. It's just little stuff like that. But I will say to the Rams, I think they get 10. I'm always lower on the Rams. Always low. So, they're not going to do this. And they always do it. So I'm just going to take the 10 this year. Devontae and Puka is very interesting to me. Even if Devontae takes a step back, he's still better than 40% of the receivers out there, I would say, personally, if he takes a step back.
I love old Larry Fitz era.
I'm cool with that. Larry Fitz is still a beast. But yeah, I'll take the over. Just because the Rams always find a way. They always find a way. Like over the last 4 or 5 years, they just found a way to compete and be around when it matters. So I'll bet on that again, especially if Stafford's anywhere close to healthy. I think that helps. So,
yeah. If no one knows, that's Danny's sister, Haley. And that's what Danny gets for leaving his door open. So, yeah. Don't know one sane person who keeps their door open in a full house when they're recording, but I digress.
She wasn't even home, bro. Like, she did.
I still don't know why you kept the door open. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much everything we got for this episode.
Plummet of the week right there.
No, that's always great. That's always great. Nothing better than some, sibling love, man. But thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this or listening to this on audio, leave a like, 5-star review, download the episode. Next week, again, it will be the NFC East predictions along with our award predictions for the season, plus Super Bowl predictions and whatnot. So, yeah, from AP New Freezer, Culture by Migos, DC Comics, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week.